like that exploitation of labor in which our communities have had to work for so long, and like we've been exploited to build that wealth. And so us being able to rest in itself is so freaking powerful. And so we want to be able to pursue fire so we can rest and we can have also more options in our lives and more power in our lives, right? So we can choose what to do with our time. And I think that in itself is super like radical and transformative. What's up, y'all?
Welcome to the Money Noticias podcast.
If you're tired of this shit and want to learn how to use money to live your life on your own terms, you're at the right place.
We're your hosts, Israel and Sunem, your favorite Latina siblings on the internet. We are committed to empowering you to take control of your money and life.
So if you're ready to get your money right, we're so glad you're here.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Money Noticias. We are your hosts and favorite Latina siblings on the internet, Israel and Sunem. And today we're doing another solo episode. So if you've been listening to our podcast, we've talked about Costify, which means that you have enough money in your investments accounts that without contributing any more money into it, it will grow into enough to cover your traditional retirement. If you want to learn more about that, we have a specific episode where we talked about Costify, so we're going to link it in the episode show notes. But we have never done an episode on what financial independence, retire early, aka FIRE, or also known as work optional, is all about. This is something that Israel and I bring up in a lot of our episodes.
Yeah, so if you are new to our podcast, we are on a mission to become work optional, if you will. That's one of our top money goals, is to not have to work to pay the bills. And so in this episode, we want to talk all about it. But before we get to today's topic, we are going to cheese me out a little bit, just like we like to do during our solo episodes. And offline, was like, you need to start first because I'm the only one who starts. So yes, I have to start first with my cheese man. I have been good. I'm a little burnt out from traveling. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Like I'm definitely my Doña era. All I want to do is be in my house, wrapped up in my little blanket on my bed, watching novelas. It's so good. It just feels amazing. It's partly because I don't really, enjoy the social life here in Nashville. It's also partly because it's getting cold. It's cold now, so it's like giving indoors energy. But also, I'm getting a little older, y'all. Like it's giving old age. Okay, it's giving old age, honey. But I have also been financially stressed. Well, not stressed, but like I faced a financial challenge there was something wrong with my car, and so now I have to pay $1,200 to fix that. And they've been pushing back the date in terms of when I'm going to be able to use my car. That's been annoying and challenging. And also, I just realized that like I low key feel like my mobility has been very limited because of not having a car, which means that like I'm depending on Sunem, who's really rude and mean, to let me borrow her car. She's like, "No, I'm not gonna let you borrow my car, because you have to pay me $5,000 for borrowing my car today." So I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm just kidding. No, but I have had to depend on others to like take me to places and do things. So y'all, like literally, that's a huge issue. Like public transportation, at least in the South. But I know it's just not specific to the South or Nashville. It's like really like everywhere in the country, as someone who has lived in different parts of the country, like struggling with that. But at the same time, y'all, like, I like being inside my house. Ain't nobody trying to see nobody, right? Ain't nobody trying to see nobody. So the only thing that I would use my car in the weekends that I've been wanting to use is to like go get food. But good thing there's a little outlets that were built next to my apartment complex. And so now I'm been able to walk there for food and stuff. And so that's what's been going on me. So Doña Era and car issues. How about using them?
Oh no, I hate car issues. So I wish we didn't live in this country where it's all about cars and having cars, or else you can't get places. So I definitely feel for you, Israel. But I'm glad that you got your money right and you have that emergency fund that's going to let you sleep well at night because you know that you have the money and you don't have to get into debt for it. And okay, so about me, I don't know. I feel like always been on my doña era, so I don't really go out much except to travel. That's the only time I'm mostly out. It's when I'm like out of Nashville in a different city. So I've been really enjoying my time here in Nashville recently because I've been resting from traveling every single month. And I have just been running and trying to build my exercise routine because I've been doing strength training and I've been consistently working out for strength training twice a week, which was something that I really wanted to do. And so I've built that up and I think that's what I've been focusing on lately. I do have travels coming up, which I am excited about. I'm going back to New York City. Yay, I love New York City. And my partner's coming with me, which is I'm so excited because he's gonna pay half of everything. And the single tax is real. So when you solo travel, it's so expensive. I recently realized that I do like solo traveling. Like it's so nice to go somewhere by yourself and do whatever you want, but it's like double the price. And so, yes, I would solo travel, but it's also nice to travel with someone so that they can pay half of the bills. So that's something that I'm grateful for. Thanksgiving was okay. I'm excited about the holiday season. I'm excited about Christmas. And I have a playlist of Christmas songs that I love to listen to now because, it's giving Christmas spirit.
Yeah, so the single tax, for folks who don't know, the single tax is additional money that you have to pay because you are single in this society that is very much centered around being in a relationship and being in a financial agreement with someone else romantically, right? And so I've been always saying like, oh, I hate the single tax. I hate the single tax, because I'm single. But recently, I've been realizing that like I actually like paying the single tax is worth it because you have so much peace of mind and you don't have to compromise with anybody. You're just a gusto en la casa. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've obviously do crave being in a relationship, but I also like not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's relationships can be ghetto sometimes, and it's like ugh, I just want to be in my doña era. My so I don't know. Like sometimes a single tax is worth paying but also like it's unfair that you have to pay single tax because of how this society is structured, right? But I'm happily paying the single tax now, given these
Y punto.
circumstances. Y punto. Okay? Y punto.
But that is a episode about talking about like relationships and how your finances change. I think that would be a really great episode to have. So stay tuned for that in the future. Okay, so now that we, teased me out a little bit and told you about what was going on in our lives and how he is having car issues, please pray for him so that he gets some
Thoughts and
money in his
prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Please and thank
and
you.
Venmos too and
And
Cash
the
App.
most. And I take sale too. I take sale too.
He takes everything. Okay, so we wanted to talk about this topic that Israel and I really are pursuing, which is financially and trying to be financially independent, aka work optional, or some people call it FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early. And so you might be wondering, what is this thing that both you and Israel are always yapping and yapping about? So financial independence is basically you were able to generate enough passive income, so money earned by doing minimal work to cover all your annual expenses, which would make you work optional because you are putting money into assets that are going to give you this passive income and it's going to be able to cover your bills and it's going to be able to give you that job flexibility, meaning that you don't have to work for money, you're just working because you want to. And then financial independence gained popularity thanks to a book that I definitely recommend. It's called Your Money or Your Life. So in this book, the authors make the case that we should think about everything through a lens of of our most valuable resource, which they say it's our time, or aka our life energy. And they say that most people are trading their precious time for things that are not even worth it. And so they recommend that people should work to pursue financial independence instead of spending all their life just working a 9 to 5 job, or basically just working a job that is not really letting you do what you want. And so that's how financial independence movement started, through this book called Your Money or Your Life.
I love that book, Your Money in Your Life, and I read that book. It's by Vicki Robin. We'll put the information in the show notes. But I love that book. I read that book for the first time when I was really going through it. When I had graduated from Stanford and I was back in Tennessee, had quit my first teaching job. I had no like full time job, and I was like kind of like going through it financially. And it just like really opened my eyes to the ways in which we are really like trading our life, literally our life, our energy, our time for money. And I think that book helped me become very intentional with how I spend my money because, like, she argues, like, the more intentionality I have with my money, the more intentionality I have with my life, right? And that makes sense because, unfortunately, like we always say, we yap and yap. We live in a Catholic society in which money is really important, right? And so I love that book. I highly recommend it. And financial independence, I think for me made sense when I was really going through it. And I think for some folks, it's like, oh, financial independence. Like, what would I do? Not working, right? Like, is this even real? Like, I'm just so socialized to believe that I have to work all my life, right? Because that's just what it's the reality for a lot of folks, and that's what's portrayed and we're taught. But financial independence is real and it's cute, and I want everybody, especially people of color, to pursue it, right? And it's real. Okay, just like science is real, everyone, financial independence is also real. Okay, don't let no one tell you, don't let Donald Trump not tell you, right, that science is not real. Okay, okay, it's giving, we are research based. Okay, we are research based. But yeah, like for sure, people, Black, Indigenous people of color in particular, should be pursuing financial independence because we don't come from the generational wealth that white folks come, and that is not because we're not as smart or bright or hardworking as them. It's because literally of the legacies of colonization in which white Europeans came to the Americas and Africa and different parts of the world where people of color live and, extracted our resources, colonized, and that history still trickles on to today. And it's still a lot of those dynamics are still happening today, modern colonization, racism, etc. And that's why we don't have wealth, right? And so when we pursue financial independence, it's also really powerful because we're building that wealth, but also we're reclaiming the wealth that is ours, the wealth that belongs to us, and the wealth that we have built on country. The US and your global powers have built the wealth off our backs, the backs of our people. And so it's really important that we pursue financial independence for those particular reasons, but also beyond that, pursuing financial independence and retire early like allows us to like rest. Similar or a thread of that history that I was talking about is like that exploitation of labor in which our communities have had to work for so long, and like we've been exploited to build that wealth. And so us being able to rest in itself is so freaking powerful. And so we want to be able to pursue fire so we can rest and we can have also more options in our lives and more power in our lives, right? So we can choose what to do with our time. And I think that in itself is super like radical and transformative for a lot of people.
So when the fire movement started, a lot of people who were pursuing it were like white men, because they were the one who had like six-figure jobs, and it was easier to pursue it when you have so much income and you don't have a lot of expenses. And for us, people of color, who were kind of like, sometimes we can be like the sandwich generations, where we not only have to think about our retirement, we have to think about like our kids, if we choose to have kids, our parents' retirement. And so it becomes even harder for us to pursue it. But I think everybody should at least try to pursue it, because even though you might not be able to retire early, you might not be able to retire in your 30s, in your 40s, maybe you can retire in your 50s or or even retire in your 60s, which a lot of Americans are can't even retire in their 60s. They have to keep on working until they die. So even if you're not able to reach it in an early age, it's still going to help you so much, because pursuing financial independence will allow you to unlock different levels of financial freedom the longer you are in the journey, which this financial freedoms you can use to build a life that is better now. So if that means maybe just working part-time when you're in your 50s, if that means moving to a different country, if that means taking a sabbatical, like, want everybody to pursue it, just because like there's nothing negative in pursuing it, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I'm not gonna lie, I love me some good transparency. It's Pursuing it does take privilege, right? A level of privilege, which means that you have the income to be able to pursue such a lofty goal, right? However, even if you don't make that much income, you can still, like them said, maybe not reach fire in your lifetime, but unlock lots of levels of freedom throughout your journey to financial independence. And then also, like we always mention, generational wealth is not just the money that you pass down to others, but also the knowledge. So as you're pursuing your financial independence journey, if you're not making a lot of money, you don't have that much privilege like these white men who have historically pursued fire. You're still learning more and more about the system, and that knowledge you can pass down to your kids, to your nieces and nephews, to those who come after you, so maybe they can then achieve fire in their lifetimes, right? And so it's super important that we, as people of color, Black, Indigenous people of color, that we do pursue fire, because for all these reasons, but also like the pursuit of fire becomes allows you to become more intentional with your money, spending your money, right? It allows you to be more self-aware, and that is all interconnected with other parts of your life. Pursuing this process also pushes you to be more intentional with how you spend your life, right? It pushes you to be more self-aware of who you are, right? And so it's a win-win situation. It's not easy. This journey is not easy, all right? But like I always highlight, it's worth it. The fruits of this journey are certainly worth it, and we've been on this journey for like what, 6 years now, or 5 years or whatever. And it's I feel like it's improved our quality of life significantly, even though it hasn't been necessarily the easiest.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely improved my quality of life so much, because I remember when I first learned about fire, when I think it was like 2018. I was going to school and I was so burned out that when I learned about fire, I was like, "Oh, I really want this. I want to pursue it." And then pursuing financial independence really gave me that money goal, that I was like, "Okay, well, if I want to buy this thing that I don't really need, like, I'm not gonna be able to invest it so that I can reach my goal of becoming financial independent." So it definitely made me be more intentional. It definitely let me, like, let a budget work for me even better, because I knew that I was wanting to be more intentional so that I can be able to pursue financial independence. And it also, like, allowed me to ask myself, okay, well, now I've reached this level of wealth, like, what do I want my life to look like now? And if it wasn't for financial independence, I don't think I would be asking myself those questions. And I don't think we would be having this podcast today. Okay, so if you are like, okay, yeah, you sold me, I want to pursue financial independence, how do I get started? So, here are the steps to becoming financial independent. So, the first one is to educate yourself. So, you want to learn more about what is financial independence. And also, like, something that made me want to pursue financial independence was that I was able to read other people's stories who were pursuing financial independence and how it changed their lives. And that really, really motivated me to take action. The other step that you want to do is to organize your money, aka budgets. I know a lot of people don't like budgets, myself included. I hated budgets in the beginning until I learned that it's just organizing your money and you are in control of your budget. You decide what goes into it, you decide what does not go into it. And we created a whole episode all about budgets. So we're going to link it in the episode show notes. But you want to organize your money because you want to have money that you're going to be able to invest so that you can reach financial independence. And so having organized money is going to allow you to do this. And then the third step is you want to calculate your financial independence number. So, this financial independence number is the amount of money that you will have to save or invest to reach financial independence and make yourself work optional. And you can calculate this number by multiplying your annual expenses, which is why you need to organize your money so that you know how much you're spending every year. So you want to multiply your annual expenses, so all your annual bills and your spending by 25. And this is how you get your financial independence number. Like, this is the money that I need in order to be able to be retired or become work optional. So we have an example for you. So let's say you're someone who only has annual expenses of $40,000. So if you multiply $40,000 by 25, that means that you would need a 1 million portfolio to be able to reach financial independence. So once you have 1 million, you become financial independent, you become work optional, and so you don't no longer have to work for money.
All right, so we will link a financial independent calculator in our show notes just because I know, at least for me, I still get like a little confused about the numbers, how all of that is calculated. So if you're like, I'm a little confused, that's okay. We'll link it there and you can just use the little calculator to help you calculate your FI number. And also, if you're like, oh my God, like $1 million, like, where am I going to find $1 million? Like, I look under the couch and I can only find 25 cents. That's even if I have a lucky day, right? Yeah, I love finding me money in the car, anywhere. When I find money like in my little pocket, $5, I'm like, ooh, $5. It makes me so happy. But anyway, yeah, that is a lot of money. All right. That is a lot of money. And I remember clearly when I started this journey 5 years ago, I was like, how am I going to reach this amount of money? Like, that is a lot of money. But then you realize, well, then I realized that time is going to fly. 5 years passed already. And so I was able to, me puse las pilas, me puse juicioso, and I was able to like invest a lot of money because 5 years do pass, they pass fast. But also, we have to remember, y'all, the power of compound interest. Okay, literally today I did a little post on how I was able to reach a six-figure investment portfolio by the age of 26 on a teacher salary. And when I was doing the little numbers, I was like, oh my God, like I invested only like what, 58K or 60K or something like that. And I was like, where did the other 40K come from? During those 3 years, those 40K came from that, like the interest. Okay. 40K. I'm not saying you're going to get 40K every 3 years, depending on how the stock market works, right? But compound interest dictates the earlier you invest and the more you invest, the more money you'll have in the long term, right? And so that is going to help you reach that 1 million. So it doesn't mean that 1 million has to come from directly from your paycheck to your investment portfolio. No, that's not how it works. Your money is going to grow in the stock market for you to be able to reach that $1 million. So I just want to highlight that because I was like, what? Where am I going to get $1 million? Was this meager ass teacher salary? You know what I'm saying? And so if you're confused about that, the power of compound interest, that it's the eighth wonder of the world, y'all.
This episode is brought to you by our free training guide.
If you're ready to take control of your debt, we provide you with 6 steps to make it happen.
Download your free guide today by going to the episode show notes.
No more excuses, no more nada. You got this, boo.
Yeah, it really is. And compound interest is magical. And like Israel said, so the next step would be to invest to create passive income. And you are investing either through the stock market, which is where interest will be playing in your favor and it's going to be giving you compound interest and growing your money exponentially. And like you said, the longer you are invested and for the long term, the more your money will grow. And another way you can also reach financial independence is through real estate investing. So that's you owning property and either renting them or like flipping them and stuff like that. So that's another way that you can do it. It's just that real estate for us, we think that's a lot of work. So I'd rather be a lazy investor and just invest it in the stock market. But everybody's different. So you want to make sure that you choose what's right for you. And we will link our episode on investing in the episode show notes if you want to learn more about how to invest in the stock market.
Yeah, and it's not a binary dynamic where you're like you either invest in the stock market or you invest in real estate. You can do both. Okay.
Yes.
But you need money, honey, okay, to do both. That's all I gotta say about that, right? Especially you need money for real estate. And I think real estate makes it more challenging if you don't have a strong financial foundation. Based on my experience and based on, my in the industry experience I also have in this field, um, tech has made investing in the stock market more accessible. And also, if you're undocumented and you have an ITIN number, there are certain platforms on which you can invest in the stock market. But yes, and so from our perspective, like like Sunem said, like you get to decide how you want to build that financial independence number or wealth to reach that financial independence number, whether it's through stock market, real estate, or both. Just do your research, play around, and take an educated decision. And if you change your mind, that's perfectly normal.
Hey there, just wanted to quickly ask you that if you are enjoying the podcast, please drop us a quick rating or review. The more reviews we have, the more amazing listeners like you can find the podcast and benefit from our content. This is going to help us a lot, so thank you so much. We can't wait to read your amazing review. And the last step is to enjoy your journey. So, the journey to financial independence is a long one. Israel and I have been on it for the past 5 years, and we still have a few years to go. And so, something that you want to do during your journey so that you don't get discouraged is first, you want to celebrate your wins. Once you reach your first six figures or even 50,000 in the stock market, whatever you want, whatever's a big amount for you, and you're like, I'm celebrating this because I did it. Make sure you're celebrating all your milestones. I was not into celebrating, but now I'm celebrating all of them. I'm excited to hit all my milestones so I can celebrate them. So yeah, celebrate your wins. The next thing is you want to spend guilt free on things, experiences that make you happy, because when you are in the journey to financial independence, sometimes you want to reach it really fast depending on your life circumstances. And you're like, I'm going to deprive myself and invest more and save more so that I can reach it faster. But I want to say, please don't do that. There are moments that, sometimes we do have to hustle and we do have to invest aggressively just so that we can have those milestones that are going to allow us to live life. But I also always want you to make room to spend on things that make you happy now. Because what's the point of reaching financial independence if you are miserable? And so allow yourself, that those moments that you spend on things that you love. And then the other thing you want to use is you want to use your financial milestones to design a life that you love now, because while we want to pursue financial independence, we want to reach it. Sometimes life happens and we might not be able to reach it, or we're humans and we will die one day. And
Well,
like,
damn.
I know it's sad, but you want to make sure that you love your life now, because what if you don't reach your financial independence because you passed away and you were not doing stuff that you enjoy? So I want you to make sure that you're using your financial milestones to design a life that you love now, even while you're pursuing financial independence. And so for me, that meant that I wanted to work remotely. I only want to work 4 days a week right now, and that makes me happy. And yes, I can work 5 days a week and I can have more money to reach financial independence faster, but is that worth it to me? No, that's not. I really enjoy the life that I'm living right now.
Absolutely. And I think that like you being able to do that just shows that you are working on your relationship with money, because we're supposed to shift our mindset around money as something that is meant for it to be accumulated to something that is a tool to live our best lives, right? And I think a lot of us come from poverty tend to have a survival mindset and have a survival perspective on money, just like hoarding, like saving based on fear, right? Investing based on fear. And we need to shift that. So we need to improve our relationship with money because like the other piece too, like you may hit fire, but if you don't work on your relationship with money, then you're still gonna be anxious. You're still gonna be you're not gonna have a good mindset when it comes to your money, you know. And so it's super duper important that you also work on your relationship with money. And as you work with your relationship with money, you're going to be inherently able to design a life that you love, right? It's gonna
Yeah, and also another thing is that if you don't work on your relationship with money and you hit your fire number, you're like, I don't want to, I want to continue to work because I feel like my money's going to go away. So I can't even allow myself to stop working because you're so scared. And
yeah.
so you also want to ask yourself, like, when is enough enough? And that really means working on your relationship with money.
And it's not easy. That shit's hard, but we got to do it. We got to do it. And the other thing too that I wanted to mention is that there's going to be a crisis of retirement in this country. Like people will not be able to retire, right? Because pensions and social security are being dismantled, and so the responsibility has shifted from companies and the government to take care of the retirement of folks to the people ourselves to take care of our retirement. And a lot of us don't have financial education to be able to do that. And also, like, life has gotten more expensive, you know, and it's harder to save and invest. And so, if you do have the privilege of being able to invest and pursue financial independence, like it is a privilege, but at the same time, it's a need because if you don't invest or make your money work for you, you won't be able to retire, right? And that is going to be a huge crisis when people are not able to retire because they don't have any assets, right? And so, yes, it's a privilege, but at the same time, it's also a need. And so, hay que ponernos las pilas. We need to, you know, focus and get this money right, secure the bag, and work towards financial independence, everyone, because this country is ghetto.
And capitalism is ghetto.
I know. It's just I'm just so sick of it. Like, yeah, I know every episode, but truly, I feel like it's just the more and more I realize about how I live my life and everything. It's just like it's so freaking controlled by capitalism, literally. You know. Um,
Mhm.
But anyway, we have agency, we have power. Let's focus on the things that we can control. And fortunately, there are a lot of things that we can control.
It's
You know,
giving
you have to go to
giving
therapy.
it's giving that therapy is working for Israel.
It's giving that I'm therapized. That's what it's giving. Okay. Well, y'all, we hope y'all learned a little something today about financial independence. If you found this information to be really, really valuable, please, please, please drop us a rating or review. That's going to help us be able to be found by other amazing listeners like you. But also, like, if you were like, yo, I love this content, this podcast is real good, please share it with a loved one or friend or someone who you know will benefit from this content. If you're like, I know this person really wants to build wealth, they just don't know how to do it, or I know this person needs support in managing their finances, send that to them. Okay? Please and thank you. Be like, here you go. Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate, right? Or happy birthday, whatever you celebrate. Try to be inclusive up in this bitch, right? Here you go as a gift to you, right? So that'll be really helpful. Thank you. That is all for today. Thank you for spending this time with us. And remember to live, rest, and secure the bag.
If you are enjoying this podcast, please share with a friend, family member, or loved one.
Please and thank you.